Yeah.
I just had a question on drugs being such an expensive part of a senior's life.
Yeah.
Has there been any thought of looking at these patents on drugs? The way I feel about it is if any taxpayer money went into the development of the drug, then they should have a limited amount of time. If they're going to develop it on their own, the taxpayers are still getting involved in it, but it's through the tax system and write-offs. But there's no reason that the patents should be the same all the way along. So there's a real problem there.
Yeah, I would agree. And I guess I analyze like this. I want to make sure there's enough profit incentive to invest in new research and development. I want to make sure there's that there, but you're right. I think in the end, a lot of folks get gouged, and I want to make sure that's not happening. And so there's got to be balance. There has to be balance. I want to make sure I get to everyone ask. Yeah, way back.
Yeah. Do you have any plans, or is there any plans to throttle back some of the federal government? I mean, there's a dozen agencies.
Yeah.
Seems to me every time the federal government tries to fix something, they do more harm than good in the beginning. The waste, the fraud. I mean,
You're right.
Is anybody going to do anything about that?
Because there was a recent study that came out, I think it was from the OMB, talking about all the different agencies that do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the proposal too, is consolidate these programs that they just bloat beyond belief. Yeah, scale them back.
You hear about it year after year after year, the billions of dollars of fraud and waste, and but nobody ever seems to do anything about it.
We want to go. Ryan's proposal goes back to 08 or just below 08 spending levels and caps it there.
That's a good start.
Yeah. But, and I guess I would ask this, I mean, obviously we have a difference of some opinion there, but does anyone agree that we have a spending problem, or does everyone say no, there's no spending
Is
problem?
anyone here an economist? Did you talk to an economist about any of this?
Yes, I have.
What's the name?
Are you an economist? Yeah, are you an economist?
I'd like to know the name of your economist that you talked to.
Yeah. Does anyone?
Can you tell me the name of your economists?
I've talked to in the Joint Economic Committee. There's a team of economists. That
Give me the names,
I've worked with.
please.
No, if you want somebody,
No,
give me an
you
email
don't.
address, I'll send
You
it
don't
to
need my
you.
email
Yeah.
address.
Yes,
You don't know.
I tend to visit with my representatives in Congress, both state and federal. What's the most efficient way to contact you? Is it through your Wausau office or to go through the congressional email list?
Well, so if you, yeah, good question.
That's the most efficient way to get a hold of you.
Well, you can go through either office, and like if you're looking for, if you have a Social Security issue, Medicare issue, the best way to go is through the Wausau office. If you have a legislative issue, the DC office is the best. But either way, I'm getting emails from both offices. So, and just so you know, the we're gonna have an office in Superior as well. It hasn't opened yet. That's going to be hopefully in the very short future. Hopefully, in Northern Maine, we're going to have it up and running. Yeah.
How did $40 billion worth of cuts turn into $200 million?
Well, that's a good question. So yeah, this is on the CR, the continuing resolution. Let me just give. Last year, the House didn't pass a budget. They didn't propose a budget. Anyone disagree with that? Okay, thank you. And so this Congress is doing the work of last year's Congress, just to set the stage. And what happened is, I think Paul Ryan identified that right up front. Said, listen, we're so far into the year that the actual outlays in this year are going to be far less than 39 billion. But if you look at what the CBO also said is, over the course of 10 years, those cuts will be $315 billion. So it's basically like my example is, my wife says I can go buy a tie at the store. She's giving me $25, and I'm driving to the store to buy my tie. But before I get there, she takes the money away from me and says I can't buy the tie. So the money's not going to be spent, though it was projected to be spent, and that's how the CBO has analyzed it. Yeah.
5 minutes, John. How do you plan on voting on the vote to raise the debt ceiling?
Next question.
Yes or no?
Here's where I look at it. I think I look at this, and I think that this will happen in the House. if we have a movement to scale back the size and scope of government, it's serious, it'll be raised without a problem. But if we keep the status quo, I don't think there will be enough votes in the House to raise the debt ceiling. That's what I would assess the tune in our conference, if that makes sense, yes.
On the defense budget, everything for the budget should be up for grabs.
I agree with you.
The defense should not be. I'm a military retiree, and the problem I've seen on the defense budget is that the troops pay, my retirement pay, our medical stuff is almost 50% of the defense budget now. Is there any proposals out there to start looking at retirement for soldiers? I know we had it a while back. We had the top 3-year earning or something like that was out there, but they rescinded it and put everybody back on the old retirement. 20 years, 30 years, 75%. There's got to be something. We got to do something about this retirement. Making us work longer. I don't know.
No.
There's nothing out there.
Not for our military. We're not taking benefits away from those who've served.
I'm not saying to take benefits away, but we got to relook at how we do retirement.
And I guess we're looking at it here. That's and for future generations.
Yeah.
But I guess I would submit this to you. You're right. We have to consider everything. And I'm not willing to do this. If we've asked our men and women to go fight, I want to make sure they have every resource to be successful and be safe. But with that, I also Paul's proposal in the budget committee. The real cut is I think $72 or $78 billion over 10 years. We have to ask our military to be more effective and do more with less.
Yeah, we waste a lot of
Absolutely.
money. I mean, it's the way we do the budget. I mean, when I was young and stuff, and that was going on for most of my career, come the end of the fiscal year, if we didn't burn up the ammunition, we went to the range and burned up all the ammunition, burned up our barrels, had to buy all brand new barrels at the end because we had guys that had profiles from throwing hand grenades because they were throwing 200-300 hand grenades in a day just to get rid of them. So because we didn't do it, Congress would take it away from us. We couldn't get it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just stupid stuff we do.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah. We have to have a better budget process.
I'll tell you one vote that I maybe I'm not. I'm a freshman. Do you remember the double engine debate that's been going on for our strike fighter? They had 2 engines that were being developed for our strike fighter, and I'm like, why are we wasting billions of dollars on a 2-engine approach? One company won the bid. Let's go with them. So we had a vote on the House floor right after I got there, and I voted to cut the 2nd engine. It was a GE engine that was being produced in John Boehner's home district, and I was the 218th vote to cut the engine. Someone said after that, they said, you should probably watch the board and see what vote you are. But I think we have to ask. You can't just say, listen, I want one group to take a huge. No, we have to look across the board and say, how do we come together and fix this?